Hi, Kevin Coupe here, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. I love stories about business leaders who behave in unorthodox ways, and there were a couple of stories in the New York Times the other day that sort of caught my attention and I wanted to share with you. One was about a fellow named Steve Stout, who owns and runs a small ad agency. And Steve Stout thinks it's very important that organizations be built around a basic belief system, a value system, if you will. Now, in most companies, this value system very often is sort of put down on paper as a mission statement. But Steve Stout goes further than that. He thinks of it more of as a constitution. And so what he does in a lot of cases is he asks the people who work for him to sign the Constitution, to sign the mission statement, as a way of getting their commitment that in their work lives they're going to sort of adhere to the belief system, the value system that he's developed for the organization. And he thinks that's really important, because if you have people in any size business who aren't adhering to the belief system, they can sort of erode the business culture, and that's the road down which when businesses go it doesn't end up well. And I thought that was really interesting, the idea of signing this constitution for the business. The other story had to do with Jim Koch of the Boston Brewing Company, and I didn't even remember this, but the point they were making in this story was that 17 years ago, when Jim Koch decided to take Boston Brewing Company public, one of the things he wanted to do was sell shares at a preferred price to his customers as opposed to the investment types. And he thought it was more important to sell shares at a preferred price to customers who drink beer as opposed to fund managers who drink wine. And it's really interesting, because one of the things he did is when he did this was he told the SEC, because you got to make an estimate, he said, I think I can get about 30,000 people to invest in the company. 100,000 people sent him checks. He had to run a lottery and send 70,000 checks back. It was an extraordinary event, and one of the points the Times was making was, by doing that, he may have set in motion a kind of a niche revolution, if you will, that some other companies are starting to try, because they think it's better to cater to their customers than to just the investment types. I just love stories like these, stories about business leaders doing unorthodox things, coming at their businesses from a different kind of angle. In the case of Steve Stout, it was a matter of really understanding that the people on the front lines are the people who are going to make or break your business, and doing whatever you can to get them to buy into your value system. And in the case of Jim Koch, it's a question of being more focused on Main Street than on Wall Street. In both cases, it seems to have worked out. I think they're great examples of how businesses can think differently as they move their organizations forward. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning, and as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.